Hi guys, and welcome to Olivia Connects. My name is Olivia Gudaniec, and today we are here with the famous
David Bautista.
Welcome.
The famous Dave Bautista.
Yeah, you're kind of a big deal. If you guys are as excited as I am, hit that thumbs up and show us how amped you are, because I am so excited. I have researched you and watched, I think, hundreds of interviews, which makes this one so challenging because I want to ask you things nobody else has.
Good luck.
Exactly. So I've been really trying to do my research and formulate things, and I feel like even at this point, I can even anticipate how you're going to answer. So bear with me, guys. So Dave here is an actor, a wrestler, a bodybuilder, an athlete, a father. I could go on, but I actually want you to describe yourself for all of us.
That's not the easiest thing to do. I guess I hate to say it because it sounds a bit cliche, but I like to think of myself as a Renaissance man.
Okay.
You know, if I had to kind of sum it up, I think I'm very artistic, somewhat rough around the edges, but I think chivalrous and a gentleman first, and but yeah, I don't know, kind of everything. You kind of encapsulated me in your description.
Yeah, I did the big things, but it's kind of interesting when people describe themselves. Like I would say petite, ambitious, so it's kind of, it says a little bit about our characters.
It's weird because I was actually recently having a conversation, and it was about Sylvester Stallone. And it was the reason why I think that I clicked with him. We really gelled together for some reason, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I said, I think it's because I've met a lot of artistic people. I've met a lot of athletes, but I don't often meet people that are both, who I can relate to on both levels. Mm-hmm. And Sly, I can literally sit down and in the same conversation, talk about just, gut-busting workouts and, tear-dropping scenes, just we can go from one extreme to the other as far as being artistic and athletic, and so it's, I just don't meet too many people like that.
And those people definitely stand out.
Yeah, well, thank you.
No problem. So you mentioned in a ton of interviews that you were growing up and you were really shy. Mm-hmm. So I think it's really brave of you to seek out the world of entertainment. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there are probably other avenues you could have gone and passed.
Yeah, but it's odd. I find it more common than you would think that people who are shy and introverted are often like actors and entertainers. So it's weird. I don't know. I think it was just a part of me that always wanted to entertain people, but also wanted to be someone that I wasn't really. Like always wanted to be kind of the life of the party, or that dynamic person, but I never was. I was just always too shy and introverted.
Didn't that give you anxiety?
Oh, I had horrible social anxiety. I still do to this day. And people, it's weird. They don't believe me when I tell them. They're kind of shocked when I tell them. But I have horrible social anxiety. But it's something that I just kind of learned to accept about myself. I used to be really embarrassed about it, but I've just kind of learned how to deal with it and how to accept it within myself. I think it comes with age,
Well, I couldn't tell, and probably many of you can't either. So what do you want to tell all your fans? What's the message that you want to leave for everybody?
Well,
what do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for making the most out of my life, and that's kind of the thing. I usually preach a couple things, and I hate to say that, it sounds awful that I'm preaching something or pushing something, but I do. I like to push education because I really believe in it, and that's like one of my huge regrets in my life, that I never got an education, really. And also really just kind of making the most out of your life.
I feel the same way.
Yeah, people get like kind of settled in their comfort zone and they never stretch beyond that, and I think it's just such a waste, man, such a shame. I think it's a negative zone to be stuck in your comfort zone, because you're stuck in your comfort zone, then I think people start to be envious of other people's achievements.
Right.
And the only reason they're not achieving the things that they dream of is just because they get in their box and they stay there.
But I think it's a personality thing. I think it's a mentality thing, because I'm constantly like, sometimes I feel bad watching a movie because I'm like, oh, I could have been doing this, this, and this.
Right.
Whereas I know a ton of people where like, they can relax, they can leave things to last minute. It's a totally different mindset.
For sure, yeah. To each his own. I mean, everybody's an individual, but I think it's kind of the same message on no matter what level it is. You know, I think it's even, like you said, that people are just super content with who they are and what they're doing and what they've settled into in life. You can't convince me that there's not still something that they dream of or something they want to do.
They probably just don't know yet. That's the thing.
Yeah, maybe they don't. Maybe
that
they
spark.
don't. But I think everybody, even if they're settled into a job they love, I think there's still there's always a higher level, or there's more things that you can reach, or more people you can reach out to, or you can always make the most out of, no matter what the situation is.
Absolutely. And at this point in your life, do you have people coming out of the woodworks, like being like, hey Dave, do you remember me from elementary school? Let's hang out.
Now, at this stage of my life, that's probably one of the bonuses of being kind of an introverted person growing up. I really didn't have all that many close friends, and the people that I was close with, I tried to stay in touch with throughout the years, and have even tried to reach out to. But I just, I don't have that many people that I grew up. I recently, when I was young, my girlfriend, who I dated all through junior high school and high school, was absolutely my best friend. And I tried to reach out to her recently, within the last few years, just to reconnect. And I wanted to meet her family and just hear what she had been doing all these years. And then,
curiosity too, right?
Yeah, but her husband wouldn't let her see me.
Right.
But so things like that. But I've had a few people reach out and hit me up over Instagram, and I've reconnected with them.
That's nice.
At least to touch base and see where they've been, what they've been up to. But I like that. I don't mind that.
Yeah, it's memories, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What about your friends or family members? Does anybody want to follow in your footsteps and now be an actor because they've seen all your success?
No, I think, I always thought my little brother could have easily, and he probably still could. I think he's a really talented person, and he's interested in film. He actually edits. He edits for a living, and I think that's his next movie. I think he loves what he does, and he's really kind of settled into a family life when he's really happy with it. But I think he still has big dreams of editing film and television, which he's already doing. He's already editing television. I think his next move is into film.
Well, it's always nice when you have connections in the family.
Yeah.
I wish I had that growing up, so I'm secretly envious. Let's talk about your daily grind. What do people not get to see? What does a day in the day of Dave look like? That was a bit of a tongue twister.
Well, and I get it. I know what you're saying, because I usually try to tell people that my days off aren't really days off. And it may be tedious things, like today, the first thing we did was get in the gym. A lot of people they probably don't realize it, but that's part of my job. For one, I have to stay in shape because it's part of my job. But two, I need to be in the gym because it's part of my therapy.
Absolutely.
That is my stress outlet. So it'll be things like that, and it might be, my days off, or it might be things like this. So this is what I had today.
I'm so grateful.
My day off today turned into not much of a day off, a relaxing day, but we got up, went to the gym, came home, we ate. I'm going to sit down and talk to you.
And hopefully this is relaxing too.
And then I have a Skype call with a writer after this, and then we'll probably do an early dinner, and we have some scripts and stuff we're going to get into, and that would be kind of a day off.
There you go. So what would you say at this point in your career, how you're feeling?
Anxious. I'm feeling really anxious. I'm not the type of person to settle down and be content. I always want to, my big goal is to be making films. And so right off the bat, I became obsessed with acting, and I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be respected as an actor. I still don't. I feel like I've somewhat found myself as an actor, and I kind of have an idea of what my strengths are and what I can do and what I'm not great at. But what I really love is just being a part of the process of making films. I'm a movie buff.
It's a creativity. It's you're getting
to
use
it.
It.
Absolutely, it is. And I'm also a bit of a control freak too. So I want to be.
Me too.
So I actually want to. I love having input, and I'm not a control freak to the point where I won't listen to someone or take an idea. And if somebody has an idea that is better than mine, I will be quick to admit it.
For sure.
But anyway, that's my goal. I'm not content. I want to know what I'm doing next year, what I'm working on, what projects are going on. and what I can actually develop myself to become, more involved in this business. Because I love this business. I love filmmaking.
Oh, I can feel it, I can see it. I watch you on set, you're awesome.
Thank you.
And going back to health quickly, do you have any health tips or something that's personally changed your life that you can share with us?
I think so, and I think, some people think it's like all the hype and all the rage to be a gluten-free person, but I swear, I am a skeptic about everything. And so I wasn't sure what to make of it, but I noticed significant health benefits from being gluten-free. I went gluten-free in 2010.
Oh,
and
wow.
I noticed a huge change in my health, so I believe in that. And I also, there's a few things I don't eat. I don't eat dairy, I don't eat red meat or pork, so I stay away from those things. And I'm a heavily supplemented person. Like, I believe in supplementation, vitamins and minerals, CoQ10s and stuff like that, and ribose and stuff like that. I don't take a lot of bodybuilding supplements, but I like taking like cardiovascular supplements, antioxidants, stuff like that.
I hope you guys are taking notes, because if you want to look like this guy, I know I'm going to be trying a few of those things.
But I train religiously. Not only, I vary my training, because I like to do a lot of different types of training. I think when some people, they stick to one certain thing and they kind of get in a rut and it gets boring and redundant, and of course after a while. So I think if you do a bunch of different types of training or something, it's really just being active, I think, is the most important thing. Being active, keep you young.
Yeah. And do you still deal with asthma?
Yeah, I don't, I'm medicated for asthma. I'm a lifelong asthmatic, and I take Singular every day. I have an inhaler, like an emergency inhaler, I take as needed.
Okay.
It's not often at all, but it's triggered by certain things like weather, maybe my allergies, but it's not something I suffer with, but
Okay,
that's something I've kind of learned to deal with.
Everybody's got something, and
Yeah, it was weird. Like, I got some grief, when I was wrestling, sometimes I would be struggling to breathe. We'd go to different, atmospheres or whatever, in different climates. And, I would be kind of gasping for air, and people would think that I was out of shape, and I was never out of shape. I couldn't breathe. I was something I struggled, with my asthma. When I was wrestling too, I was a bit too heavy, which is another reason I kind of lost weight throughout my wrestling career. But there were times when my asthma was so bad that I would hide inhalers around the wrestling ring, under the wrestling ring, or with the referee.
like, I'm just gonna scratch
just
over
in
here.
Case. No, and I've done that.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. So what do you miss most about wrestling, like in being in that ring?
I miss the crowd.
The crowd, the adrenaline.
The adrenaline of the live audience, man. There's nothing like it. I miss it. I miss it daily. I miss the freedom of creating excitement. It's wrestling's it's a different thing, man. It's really hard to describe. The best way I can describe it, and I've used this phrase a lot, is I think it's the close as an athlete can get to being a rock star. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what it feels like. You're out there just kind of creating magic and almost putting on a concert physically. But it's the same kind of live feedback, and it's really a special thing to be able to kind of listen and be in tune with an audience and kind of know what they want and know what they, like when to give it to them, and kind of build that excitement to like the highest at the end of the match where you really want it to kind of pay off. It's a special thing.
And acting is completely different. You've got a director telling you what to do, someone telling you what to say.
Yeah.
So
it's
totally different world.
Yeah, but
it still complements, kind of.
Yeah, still, in entertainment, a performance, just absolutely, like you said, just very different. It's much more intricate, it's much more detailed performance. The camera doesn't miss anything, and it's unforgiving.
But you could do it again, so there's that
You
aspect.
have the luxury of edit, which I took this movie years back because they were doing like long takes, like 12 to 15 minute takes. So we had no luxury of edit because it was one camera, long takes, and I thought that's really a challenge.
And it gets your adrenaline going again.
It does.
It's like, you gotta do it.
Like, you just can't mess up. There's no room for error. So, and there was, the film. I was very proud of it. We went really far with that film. But my performance, if I had the luxury of edit, I can say honestly it would have been better.
Yeah. Well, you never know, right?
Yeah, you never know.
And in the 3 years where you were kind of describing in your other past interviews where you kind of had a lull between taking a break from wrestling and going into acting, what exactly was happening in those 3 years? Like, you must have done some sort of jobs.
No, I did. The 3 years that I barely worked after I left wrestling, I mean, I acted. I did a few films, but it was like one film a year.
Right.
My first year away, I did a couple like smaller films to get some experience, and then I did one bigger film, and then it was like another film, and then another film. But I barely worked. But in between, I worked with my acting coach, a guy named Joe Huckman in LA, and I auditioned a lot, or as much as I could. A lot of times I just couldn't even get into audition. I tried to network a little bit, you know, it's not my specialty, but we constantly were knocking on doors and looking and trying to get casting agents to see me and find projects.
Well, your patience is admirable, because I know when I'm not working, I'm just trying to think of anything that I can day here, day that, promo job, focus groups. Like, have you ever done any odd jobs?
Not in that period of time, but yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I did all kinds of odd jobs. But for most of my life, I was either a lifeguard or a bouncer before I got into wrestling.
Right.
Those are kind of my two staples. Yeah.
So I looked you up on IMDb. You have a ton of credits. So wow. From Guardians of the Galaxy, you were in the Avengers movies, Spectre, Bushwick. I mean, there's so much stuff going on, but I did notice a couple of producing credits. Is that an area you want to go into more?
Yeah, my goal is actually to direct, but producing is, I think I have a natural knack for it, you know, and not in all types of producing, but I think in creative producing. I'm kind of character development and picking apart scripts. I'm basically a storyteller. I think I'm a storyteller at heart, so that is kind of where my talent lies.
And is it lonely at the top? That's just a personal question I've been saving.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I'm not at the top
You made
yet,
it.
but I can say that, it's somewhat of a lonely existence, you know, this business. And, I'm lucky now because my best friend, who's also my manager, who's also a producer on this film, has spent a lot of time here with me, but it's by design.
Right.
Because we've had a lot of conversations the last few years because I haven't been home much, and when I go out and I'm on the road, I'm by myself, and it's really hard. And this trip, I just recently split up with my wife, so it's like now I'm really alone. I don't even have anyone to call at night to say hello and try to talk about how the day's gone. So he's spending time with me to kind of get me through this. But yeah, it's a lonely existence, you know, and it can take a toll on you. It can take a toll on the people that you love. You know, you're just never home.
Yeah, I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way to navigate it.
No, there's not.
I don't know how people do it.
I don't. Some people have, get through it, and a lot of people, more often than not, they just don't. They don't make it through it, and it's just one of those things. I lost a relationship to wrestling because I was never home, and I think I lost my marriage to this business because I was never home, and we grew apart. So it's a sacrifice that comes with it. But I only have one life, and I
know.
This is what I do. You know, this is who I am.
Yeah, it's that dream, that fire inside of you, and I have it too, so I can relate, and I'm sure everybody to some degree can too. So now I want to play a little game so you guys can get to know Dave even more. If you don't already know all the facts, now you will. So I'm going to ask you as many questions as I can, Dave.
Okay.
In 1 minute.
Okay.
And let's see if we can get through this. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Cars or motorcycles?
Cars.
How many surgeries have you had?
14.
Last time you cried?
Oh God, yesterday. Cry every day.
What's your dream role?
I think it's, right now it's to play Ernest Hemingway.
Between takes, what are you doing?
Usually eating.
Gotta love food. What's your favorite app?
My favorite app?
Like on your phone.
Probably Waze.
Favorite car?
I have a Jeep. Yeah.
How many cars do you own?
1, 2, 4, 6.
Most recent lunchbox purchased for your collection?
I got a Monster 1977 Universal Monsters lunchbox.
It's a pretty impressive collection. How many tattoos do you have?
4. I usually, because a lot of them are connected, I consider that one.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Awesome. We did it. I know you've mentioned in a ton of interviews, and you've mentioned it at the beginning of this interview, that if you could do it all over again, you would incorporate education. Mm-hmm. So my question to you is, what would you study?
Probably film.
Well, without going to school, you're doing it, right? So this is school.
It's definitely, yeah, I mean, I definitely getting an education in this, but it's weird. I sat with, and I hate to name drop, but I'm going to for a minute just to put this into perspective. But I sat with Quentin Tarantino one night and Eli Roth, and they started analyzing Taxi Driver. And this conversation was so over my head that I literally just sat back and pouted. Like I just had no idea what they were talking about. That was like a real education in film. So I would like to, I wish I had that opportunity to really just go and study film, like really study directors and performers and editors. And, I think that would be amazing. Like that would be the only thing I think that could keep my attention, because my attention span it's a bit all over the place.
Well, it's never too late.
Yeah, no, and I've thought about that.
The wheel works are going, right? Mm-hmm. Well, even me with this series, like I studied theater and English, and now I wish I studied film, but just through doing this, I'm learning about lenses, and even if you pick up a little hobby on the side, mm-hmm. It's still education and it's still valuable.
For sure.
So what do you think you're doing that makes you so successful? What's that secret?
I don't know. I think it's just that I love what I do, and it's weird. I go from one thing and I become obsessed with something, and I set a very long-term goal, and I don't think I do it, like I don't write the goal out on paper, but I think subconsciously I have a goal, and if I sat down and thought about it long enough, I could tell you exactly what that goal is, but I just have a big picture in my head. Like I know where I'm at and I know where I want to be. It's been the same thing throughout my life. I've become obsessed with that's what happened with wrestling. And then it was kind of, you just follow your dream, even if it's day by day, and you kind of get, like I got farther with wrestling than I ever thought I was going to get. I never imagined getting out, but I was like one thing at a time. I wanted to get a job with the WWE. Then I wanted to keep my job with the WWE, and then I wanted to make it on TV. And then it came to the point where the crowd started paying attention. Like, well, maybe I can be a champion. And then, oh my God, I'm world champion. Well, now I'm 2-time world champion. Now I'm 6-time world champion. Yeah. It was just like one goal after another. And then I became involved in acting. I was like, God, I love this. I want to be better. So it's like one thing leads to another. And I think at the end of the day, I probably just follow what I'm passionate about.
Well, that's what people say, but it actually is working out for you. Yeah. So I've got to figure that out.
I have to say that also I'm not afraid to be a student either. If I love something, I want to learn about it, and I kind of open myself up to that, and I never feel like too proud to be able to learn something. We can learn something about everything. And
I read somewhere that you turned down a couple of movies because you wanted to perfect acting before taking on a lead role.
That was my first few years,
Because I would have jumped into that. I would have been like, heck yeah, let's do this. But your moves were so calculated, and so there was still a risk involved.
Yeah, it was actually, I can't take complete credit for it. I had a couple conversations, but I had one conversation in particular that just stuck in my head. And it was right before I left wrestling. I had a conversation with a wrestler named Stone Cold Steve Austin. And he just kind of warned me. He said that it really just wasn't easy. It's a hard business. And he said, don't go down the path of doing all these straight to DVD films, because you're going to get stuck in that rut. And but as soon as you come out and you make yourself available, people are going to want to cash you, because they know they can slap your name on a box and they can sell it.
Right.
They're not going to be the greatest movies. They're going to offer you a lot of money to do these movies, and don't get stuck in that rut. And I took it to heart, and I knew what I wanted to be and what I didn't want to be. And what I didn't want to be was that guy who was making cheesy action films, which was an easy cash for me. I wanted to be an actor, and I wanted to be respected by other actors. So I took the long road, but it's just recently in the last couple of years started to pay off. And I think next year you will see it really start to pay off because of the roles that I've taken this year.
So you had a vision, and instead of having a vision board, you had it in your head, I guess.
I took the hard way. I took the long road, but it's like you said, with a goal, with a vision. You know, it wasn't like I aimlessly took that long road. I just I knew what I wanted, and I knew it was going to be harder to get there and I might not ever get there if I take the easy route.
I personally think even if you took those DVD movies, you still could have gotten all the movies you have now, because I think you have that in you where you break stereotypes and you just keep pushing. So, but it was your path, it was your way, and I'm happy you're still doing what you love. And my last question, if there was another job you could be doing, something you haven't already done, what would it be and why?
I think, I've always wanted to own a nightclub.
Okay.
And not like a party throwdown nightclub, a kind of a loungy. I like to host people. I like to entertain people. I like to, make people feel comfortable. And I think it's probably it's probably my Greek in me that just wants to feed everybody and give everybody drinks and
bring people
make sure
together.
Everybody's singing and happy. I think that's But I worked in nightclubs for many, many years, and there was this, I don't know, man, there was this certain, there was something about it, there was a certain thing at the end of the night where you'd get with everybody who worked there, and there was just, certain fulfillment that making sure that everybody had a great time. I don't know.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate you opening up and sharing. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and of course, we will see you next week. Bye.